Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to It Takes a Village podcast. And I am super humbled to have my very own brother as episode one, Mark Village. Mark, thank you for joining me on this journey.
Yeah, thanks for having me, especially first guest. It's truly an honor.
Yeah, it's a little bit nerve wracking, a lot of pressure, especially when you have a younger brother who's accomplished so much as you have. I just want to roll back the clock a little bit here and give the listeners an idea of your career path. Let's go back to 2012. Abbotsford Mariners most saves in 15 games with 103, and then we go forward to 2013, which led to a Hall of Fame career at University of Fraser Valley, holding records of most wins, clean sheets, and most minutes played. That particular year, 2013, UFV MVP, second Team Canada West All Star. And then we fast forward to your professional career, playing for Vancouver Whitecaps second team, Cincinnati FC when they were in the USL, and then going on to Pacific FC for the Canadian Premier League, where a little known trivia, first ever clean sheet in the CPL. No one else can take that away from you, and that was back in 2019. Also won a USL championship with Cincinnati in 2018, and then as a coach, player coach, the CPL championship in 2021. How do you feel about all those accolades that I just rattled off?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you look back and it is kind of cool that yeah, you have some records and you win a few trophies with the teams and everything. But I think what your kind of intro to this podcast about what you want to accomplish with this podcast, I think it's rings true. All those things I think of, I'm like, yeah, I couldn't have done those without the help of other people. And I think, yeah, I'm truly grateful for my experiences. I'm truly grateful for all the people that took chances on me, especially a kid from like small town Abbotsford, from not a very big school, UFB. I some people had to take opportunities on me. People had to take chances on me for me to get those opportunities. And so, yeah, that's kind of what I think of most. Like I was so grateful for the experience I had, just because I knew, um, coming from Abbotsford, a small town, I like not everyone gets those chances and those opportunities that I got. And so I'm, yeah, truly grateful for those people that took a chance on me. So
And it's not that long ago. People start recruiting. Like film was maybe kind of a thing, getting film on people, but a lot of it was word of mouth. When you go back to like even before the PDL, with the Abbotsford Mariners high school days, like who inspired you, who helped you, and tell us about that journey that led you to
yeah,
be a goalie, which is kind of an isolated position.
100%. And I actually have a funny story about university. So like coming out of high school, I didn't really, I knew I wanted to play soccer. I didn't get any scholarship opportunities. I didn't get any phone calls until I got one actually from Mount Royal University in Calgary, and that kind of was like, oh, this kind of like sparks my interest. And it was actually unfortunate timing, just because that's when actually our granddad was not doing well. He was battling cancer, and I kind of was like, I want to kind of stay home because of that. And so, yeah, our dad actually said, he's like, hey, like, why don't you give a phone call to like UFE, University of Fraser Valley? It's like Alan Arrington's there. He's old Canada soccer assistant coach, like old Whitecaps assistant coach, like just give him a buzz and like see what's going on. And he's a little bit of Alan Arrington's a bit of an old school guy as we know. And so sure enough, I gave him a call and the first thing he said, he's like, "You graduated?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I thought you graduated next year." He's like, "Yeah, of course, come." And so yeah, it was kind of funny that it was that Mount Royal phone call that kind of like, oh, maybe maybe I do have a shot at like playing university soccer, and maybe I maybe I am good enough to make a team. And because I was a little bit of a late bloomer when it comes to soccer, and so yeah, I didn't really yeah, I didn't really know. And yeah, like I said, I went out to UFB, and I went. They were halfway through their training camp. They were halfway through August. Like usually, they start in like the start of August. I came halfway through August, and they already had two goalkeepers, and they had another one on trial, and then I was the fourth one. And yeah, I did really well. And so they kept me on. Alan, he even like scrounged up. I think he found me like $1,000 scholarship or whatever. But so I was like super grateful. I was like, okay, I'm on a team here. I'm number three, but hey, I can work my way up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that was kind of like the start of like the the me kind of realizing, oh, I can actually make a go at this. I can have a chance here, and if someone just gives me a chance, I can take it. So yeah, it was kind of
So,
a funny story.
so getting to the UFE was one thing, but you obviously must have had training, people helping you. Like, do you like recall any coaches or any specific goalkeeper coaches that kind of helped you progress as you went through those years?
Yeah, I think. I mean, again, like when I was growing up, like especially goalkeeping, it's not like it is now. It is a very specialty thing that we just didn't have the resources to have in Abbotsford, especially. And that's kind of where I felt like I was behind, especially you see the guys I played with when I played professionally, like guys guys went down to IMG Academy, guys were part of like MLS academies and all that stuff where they had goalkeeper coaches every single day, 5 days a week, 6 days a week,
Mm,
whatever.
wow.
And I just didn't have that. I didn't have that here. And so I maybe went to a goalkeeper camp once in a blue moon. And so it was actually UFB where I think we maybe had a goalkeeper coach like maybe twice a week that would pop in, and it wasn't even like a full-time thing. And so yeah,
Mm,
that's where you kind of had to be your own self-starter. You had to I watched a lot of videos. I tried to do my own coaching and try and do my own preparation, and just a lot of visualization is kind of what I relied on, and you just
mhm.
trying to rely on your natural abilities as much as you can. So
Wow. Um, that's pretty that's pretty crazy how, like you said earlier, small town Abbotsford, you got a goalkeeper coach coming out twice a week, maybe. And then you have all of these other major cities, major organizations or schools that have maybe more money than UFE, and they're just pumping out a full time coach,
yeah.
right? And to try and help you out. So you obviously made it. You had a great career at UFE, Hall of Fame career. Let's fast forward a little bit. What led to the next step to Whitecaps?
Yeah, it was kind of a similar situation. Like I was similar situation to like out of high school into university. It was the same thing from university into my professional career. I was like kind of on the edge. I wanted to keep on playing. I wanted to try and find a spot, and I'm like I'm looking into like our mom is from Denmark. I'm like looking in, oh, can I get my Danish passport? Can I make it go at it maybe in Europe? And that was just going to be too time consuming. And then it kind of came out actually that Whitecaps were going to start a second team, and the second team was going to play in a really good league called the USL, now called the USL Championship, and
Hmm.
it's a very good professional league, and so they were going to put a team in there, and they were looking, they had like an open tryout and everything, and so I spoke to my coach Alan Arrington. I said, hey. I want to make a go at this. I would love if you could make a phone call and try and get me a trial at the Whitecaps 2. And so the Whitecaps 2 actually, the coach that got hired there was a guy named Alan Koch. He
Mm.
was formerly a coach at SFU for many years, and so
Popular name.
he's what's that? Sorry,
Popular name.
popular name. I know I had a few Alans during my course of the soccer, but yeah. So yeah, he was at SFU. So and we played SFU in the spring seasons, and so he would have seen me. There's another funny story I'll tell later, but um, yeah. So I went for this open trial. It was myself and another guy from UFB, and we drove out there and yeah, there's a lot of people and you get like you get the pennies with the numbers on the back and the whole bit, and you're just trying to prove yourself and trying to stand out a little bit, but also trying to be that team guy at the same time. And so that was again like it kind of goes back to my early days at UFP, like when I wasn't even on the team, you're on the trial, you're trying to fit in, you're trying to show yourself and also trying to be a good teammate at the time. It's kind of that balancing act a little bit. But again, I felt like I did really well and even in the trial, like you can tell it's a step above. Like players from there's players from Europe, there's players from NCAA, there's players from their own Whitecaps Academy coming in and that they want to develop and you can tell
Mm.
it's a step above the university soccer. And so you kind of really have to step up your game. But yeah, I did well and I earned myself a contract there and that was kind of the catalyst really to my career. So
Mm. And then, well, I personally remember going over to the island and watching you play for Pacific FC. Um, I know you had a stint in Cincinnati before that. Do you want to talk about that quickly, or?
yeah, I mean, I think yeah, I can kind of go back. Like Whitecaps 2 lasted 3 years and then they actually folded the team and they moved the team down to Fresno. And
Mm-hmm.
so again, I was out of a contract. I was out of a team. Didn't really know what I was going to do. Again, I for Whitecaps 2, it was tough. Like again, I'm trying to work my way up, and they would always send first team guys to down and get minutes, and so I wasn't getting any minutes. But though I played one game in that 2000, I guess it was 2017 season that we played against the Real Monarchs. They were called it. They were out of Salt Lake City and what was then Rio Tinto Stadium. Um, and now I think it's called First American or American First Stadium. But yeah, that was my debut. That was my
Mm-hmm.
debut game, and that was kind of my okay. Like I have to prove myself here in order to get another contract somewhere else. And I remember preparing for that game. We flew in a day before, and if you know Salt Lake City, this particular stadium is I think it's like 4,500 feet above sea level. It's like I remember training, and I remember thinking like, what is wrong with me? I can't breathe.
Hmm.
I'm like I feel like I'm just like not able to do whatever, and I feel like shots are coming in harder because the air is so much thinner, and like I'm just like, man, this is a lot to get used to. And then I remember the warm up for that game. I was not doing well. I was like, oh man, this is not good. But then I got into the game, and I should mention too, like Real Monarchs, they were top of the table. If they won or tied this game, they would win the regular season of the entire USL, which is an incredible
Mm.
feat. There's lots of teams,
Yep.
and so yeah, I ended up playing really well. We actually held them to a 1-1 draw, which we were happy with. And that game, I actually came out with save of the month for that game. And yeah, I think that helped me for to earn my next contract. But
Mm-hmm.
again, in the professional game, it is kind of funny. Every single year I played, I only had 1 year contracts, and it's always nerve wracking at the end of the
Wow.
season when you're like, okay, where am I going next, or can I get something, or like is someone gonna call and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, lucky enough, I did get a phone call at the end of that year from again a familiar face. Alan Koch, who had signed me for Whitecaps too, had moved to FC Cincinnati a year or two prior, sorry, and he was the one that gave me a call again. And I won't lie to you, I had to look up where Cincinnati was on a map because I wasn't exactly sure where it was. But yeah, that was a huge move for me because Cincinnati was a it's now one of the biggest clubs in North America, and
Yeah.
then I think when I got there, I think they were only 5 years old, but they just exploded. If you
Hmm.
know people in Cincinnati, it's all sports. Like people just love sports there, and I realized that really fast. And that club was really, really impressively run, and the players that we had in the 2018 season was amazing. Like they were preparing to go MLS, and yeah, I would say we essentially had an MLS team um, at that
Wow.
time. It was a really impressive. Like I had my locker mate to my left. He played at Arsenal for like 9 years, and then my locker mate to my right was he played in the League of Ireland for many years. I think he may have had a stint in England as well, and so lots of experience in this locker room. And
Hmm.
I remember just sitting there listening to these guys and just trying to soak in all the information I could.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so that was a massive move for me, even though again I was third choice goalkeeper on that team. It was just a massive experience for me, and again it was that next level of soccer. Like you go from the university to Whitecaps two, and then Whitecaps two to FC Cincinnati, and you're training with all these guys who have played at a very high level, and you
Hmm.
have to rise to that, right? So that was yeah, that was a really really big opportunity that I didn't pass up. So
Yeah, that's great. I think about you talking about the 1 year contracts, and I'll get to the second question in a minute. But the mainstream media or Instagram, Twitter, or X, it's called now. But you're seeing all these massive contracts, like millions and millions of dollars. But for the majority of players, I would imagine it's these 1 year contracts. They're just trying to fight for your next stop, right? For the majority of professional players, is that true?
yeah, well, I would say so, um, especially where I was at, like USL. Like I said, it's a very good league, but it's still under that MLS threshold. It's under all the top leagues in Europe. You know what I mean? So your contracts aren't big, although there's some decent sized contracts in the USL. Like for the majority, it's not massive contracts, and yeah, you're kind of you have to compete every single year, especially for me. Like I said, I was a third choice goalkeeper, so it's you're not on huge money with this,
Hmm.
and so yeah, again, it's nerve wracking, and yeah, you don't know where you're going to be, you don't know what's going to happen, and I mean that year the goalkeepers had a few injuries, so I think I dressed probably half the season that year. I was on the bench quite often that year, which again, like it just takes one little opportunity that okay, you're moving up.
Hmm.
Takes and then I played in lots of exhibition games. Like actually with Cincinnati, we had uh, RCD Espanyol come from La Liga, like Spain, who same league as Real Madrid and Barcelona, and they came in to play a friendly match against us, and I got to play in that game.
Mm.
Uh, and again, I showed myself really well, and yeah, the more eyes that are on you, the more opportunities you get, the further you're going to be, right? So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, so Cincinnati, big club, more eyes on you, and yeah, that kind of led into my Pacific FC as well.
Yeah. So let's go into that just quickly. The inaugural season, I think, was 2019, and you started for Pacific FC, who I'm actually wearing right now, represent.
All right,
Uh,
here we go.
I figured I'd pull it out just for this episode, but I think I was there, and I don't. It's not that I think I know. I watched you play in that game, and it was the first ever shutout in or clean sheet in CPL history. So that's kind of cool. It's very, very neat to see. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it was just extra special. I mean, like the first year of CPL, I had my eyes on it. Like CPL, we had heard rumblings for it like 3 years prior to it being even a thing. And when it was finally announced, and when I was like set to go, my agents were contacted by a few clubs, and yeah, I went with Pacific FC. It was the only team at that point in BC, and I wanted to come home. I wanted to compete for a BC team. I wanted to be a part of the first professional. Well, it's the second go around, but the first Canadian Premier League. I wanted to be part of professional soccer in Canada, and Pacific FC was that opportunity, and yeah, they gave me that opportunity. James Merriman and Michael Silverbauer at that time were the coaches, and sat down with them, and we got along great. Similar ideologies, and like I said, just the passion of like competing for BC.
Hmm.
And so that was really really exciting for me, and that was kind of really what attracted me to the CPL. So yeah, and then yeah, to your point of getting the first ever win and first ever shutout for the Canadian Premier League, it was kind of funny because there was it one, it may have been 1 or 2 games prior to us playing on the weekend. And so like, and the build up to that weekend was like, who's going to get the first goal? Who's going to get the first shutout? Who's going to get first win?
Hmm.
First, because it's the first weekend of everything. And it was 2 games prior, because the 2 games prior to us, they both ended in ties, and they both, I think they're both 1-1 or 2-2. Either way, like I was like, okay, we got a shot at this. We could get the first win. We could get the first clean sheet. And I remember in the change room, like that was our goal. Like we wanted a clean sheet. We wanted to win, like first ever in CPL. And I just remember, yeah, it was a very special game. I remember it was intense. We were leading 1-0, and we got a red card. I think we got a red card. It was around the 65th or 70th minute, and I remember it was like we just tried to lock it down. And yeah, we had some squirrely moments. Like the other team hit the crossbar, and I think we cleared one off the line as well. But we got the job done, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was a special moment. It was a special moment.
That was a very, very fun game to be at. Just from
Yeah.
an outsider's point of view, is incredible atmosphere. They do it right over there in Victoria. But okay, so I know all these massive organizations. I know they have lots of resources to help you, but can you pinpoint anybody or maybe several people who have kind of helped you in your professional career to get to where you were and where you are?
Oh, there's so many to name, Dan. Yeah, like I said, it, it's just those people, like the Alan Arrington, the Alan Koches, the at Whitecaps, the guy who really kind of took a chance on me was Regan Hall. He was at the Whitecaps a long time. He was a goalkeeper coach for the academy. He got the opportunity to be a goalkeeper coach at Whitecaps too. And I remember when I signed, he showed me his board of all the local goalkeepers, because he wanted a local goalkeeper on the squad, and my name was up there, and he's like, I just want to like let you know, before your coach called us, like your name was close to the top of the list. I think I was number two. And he's like, I just want to let you know, like your name was here, and like you earned this. I think the I jumped the next guy, because the number one was at the trial as well. But
Mm.
he's like, you earned this, like through your trial, and like who you are as a person, and like obviously what you've done at UFB. But um yeah, he took a big chance on me. I mean, like I said, like small university, small town kid. Like there's some names on this list that although they're local guys, but they played at bigger universities, NCAA stuff and everything.
Hmm.
And he took a chance on me. So that's a big name, Reagan Hall, and just through the 3 years, like he really pushed me to my limits, and he really kind of brought out the best in me,
Hmm.
and just kind of like taught me that I had more to give as well as a goalkeeper, and so that was a big name, and that was good to have her early in my professional career, and just even even for life as well. Like he was a pretty intense coach, but just the greatest guy as well. But just like yeah, just having that resiliency even through life is something that he taught me as well.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, like yeah, and then I go to Cincinnati. I had yeah, one of the best goalkeeper coaches there as well. He actually eventually ended up coaching in the Premier League as well in England as well. His name was Jack Stern, and yeah, this guy was just different class of goalkeeping, and I learned a lot from him coaching wise. I pulled a lot of my coaching style because I eventually went into coaching, as you know, and I kind of emulated a lot of Jack, how he even how he planned sessions to how he like mentally prepared guys and how he built confidence up in guys, and he was very positive, and I was kind of very similar in how I am and how I work with goalkeepers, and I just kind of really I took uh, a lot of notes on how he works. But
Hmm.
yeah, going back to the people that helped me along the way there, yeah, I mean there's so many to name. I mean you go from the grassroots of it, mom and dad taking us to all their soccer games, to all their sporting events, to all the support of like, yeah, even you guys coming out to the first Pacific FC game, like it was massive for me, and you just kind of don't, yeah, you don't forget like all
Hmm.
the people that took a chance on you and like gave you that opportunity, and yeah, that's super grateful. Yeah, there's no way you can do it yourself. Someone has to take a chance on you, and I always kind of took that as like, you know what, this person's good took a chance on me, and I want to prove them right now. I want to show them the respect of like I'm going to try my best, and I'm going to show them that they took a chance for a reason. So that was kind of my mentality when I realized like, oh, this person took a chance on me. I'm going to show them that I deserve this. So
I love that. I kind of mentioned it before that I would imagine that the goalkeeping world is a bit isolating, or maybe it's a tight knit community. I'm not quite sure, but what kind of barriers, like throughout, maybe university or even before that, youth soccer, like what kind of obstacles did you have to face in order to get to the professional ranks?
yeah, like I said, I was a little bit of a late bloomer, and again, you kind of go back to Abbotsford, like not having the resources that other people have, and so I think that was actually my biggest barrier of like not getting like kind of being a self starter and not getting the proper training that, like I said, others that I played with got when they were young, and like when you develop certain skills at a young age, that just kind of becomes part of your foundation, and then you can kind of grow on that foundation. And like I said, I didn't develop till later, and I feel like I actually really hit my stride in university, and then I just kind of started. I feel like I started really building my foundation in university, and then I kind of took steps from there. I think that was my biggest barrier, and I think I was also my own biggest barrier as well. Like it's you kind of have a lot of self doubt, and you kind of see all these people like, oh yeah, this guy's really good. Like I can't compete with him,
Mm.
and then yeah, that kind of all went away. My yeah, another funny story. Like my first year of university, there was a really good goalkeeper named Chris Johansson, he was big, 6'5" guy. Like I think he had even like a trial in Europe as well, and like very good goalkeeper and like very talented. I'm like, oh man, I can't beat this guy. Then there's one game he got hurt, and the other goalkeeper that was ahead of me was hurt as well, and so I got my opportunity to play,
Hmm.
and it was against one of the top teams in the nation. It was UBC. I think I only played like 15 minutes that game. Um, but then the very next day, we were playing against Trinity Western, also another top team in the nation. I think they were number three in the time. Um, it was just another opportunity for me to play, and I kind of realized we tied that game 0-0, and I played really really well in front of my future wife as well. She was in the
Hmm.
stands, which was nice. I played really really well, and that was kind of my moment of like, oh, I can do this. Like all the self doubt was kind of gone. Like I can compete here. I can make something of this. I can do this, and yeah, it's just kind of funny how like when you kind of get thrown in the deep end, like yeah, sink or swim. Are we gonna do this or not? And yeah, so that was kind of a moment. And at the end of the game, I got a kiss on the cheek from Alan Arrington, which was kind of nice. I know, it was kind of unexpected. He was like kind of beelining himself to me, and I think he was like 30 yards away, like straight up and grabbed me by the face and kissed me on the cheek. And I was like, oh, okay, I've done it right
Oh, that's
now.
awesome.
So,
Well, he's going to be
yeah,
a future guest, by the way, and I'm going to ask him about this.
yeah. Well, I hope he remembers that because I remember it very clearly. So,
Oh,
yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah,
Okay, I mean, incredible stuff. Like, sink or swim. I could imagine like the amount of pressure that you're going through, especially when you have two guys injured. It just speaks to, like you said earlier, the resiliency it takes to make it through. After all that you have learned, kind of going into the last point of the podcast before we get into a bit of rapid fire questions here, but what do you what I know what you have done, but what are you planning to do, or what have you done to pay it forward to up and coming goalies, or goalkeepers, or even soccer players? Have you thought about those kinds of things?
yeah, absolutely. I think it's kind of nice now that I mean, we spoke about the resources and where youth soccer was when I was growing up, and it's developed a lot since I was a youth soccer player, and so yeah, but I still want to get involved, especially like in our local area here in the Fraser Valley. Like there's a lot of I think there's a lot of talent that falls through the cracks, and that's something that I want to be a part of, and yeah, I think out of Abbotsford, men and women, I think there's been I think three or four that have played professionally soccer, and that number can be higher in my opinion. That number can be a lot higher, and I kind of want to expose that. I want to be a part of kind of yeah being a kind of a catalyst for some of these players to go higher. Yeah, and I think it's kind of cool. Just kind of going back to Whitecaps when I was playing at the Whitecaps. I was also part of the coaching the residency, like their youth academy, and it's so cool that like some of the kids I coached there and seeing they're playing professionally now and how well they're doing. Like
Hmm.
uh, Isaac Bomer, who's the backup at the Whitecaps team. He's doing very very well. Thomas Hassel, who's LAFC. Then you have Emil Gazdov, who's playing in Germany now. He's on loan to a team in Germany. Um, and then I mean, you have Ben Alexander, who's at the University of Boston University as well. Like it's kind of cool to see that. Oh yeah, like I've had an effect on these guys, even if it was just for a little bit of time.
Hmm. Hmm.
But yeah, I love that feeling, and I kind of want to have that feeling for other kids in our local area because yeah, like I said, there's so much talent here, and I think a lot of it falls through the cracks just because yeah, it's a small town, like no one knows where Abbotsford is, and and no one knows anyone from there. And I think we can put ourselves back on the map a little bit.
Hmm. So, kind of leads into my next question. What would you say the state of, youth soccer in Canada is? Like, we have the Olympics coming up, or sorry, the World Cup coming up. The men's Canada soccer team is looking pretty good, even though they're dealing with some major injuries. But even 4 years or 8 years, down the road, are we going to be sending another team out there in the World Cup, or what do you think is going to happen with the development of our nation?
Yeah, I certainly hope so. I think right now, yeah, as you said, like we have a super talented team, and I think it's Jesse Marsh who's at the head of that. I think he's smart enough that he knows that when you have a good team like this, it's not only you're not only responsible for having results now, but you're also responsible for building a foundation for our future as well. And I think he's a good coach to have at the helm right now because I think he's smart enough to understand that we're very much in the developmental stage of soccer, and it could really blossom into something really good. But that also comes from it's not all on his shoulders. It also comes from CPL. It comes from youth soccer. It comes from Canada soccer as a whole to really make sure that we're developing players underneath this really talented group right now,
Hmm.
even including young players into that team, which Jesse March has done, so that they can see the style of play, that so they can see the tempo of play, so they can see the standard of where we want things to be. And so, yeah, I think we're at a good position, and I really hope that we don't fumble it. I think this is a really opportune time that, especially with the World Cup coming up, especially with the World Cup being in North America, that this is kind of our time to really try and grow the game, and I think the uh, CPL is trying to assist that in a way, and trying to kind of put soccer on the map a little bit as well. And I think that as long as kind of everyone works together, and kind of everyone has the same ideology of like, okay, we want this game to really take off here, then I think we'll have no problems.
That's awesome to hear. I think about our neighbors to the south, right? They have an insane amount of people compared to us. Sitting at whatever it is, 35, 40 million people. We're competing, right? And we're faring pretty well compared to somebody that's got a massive population. I just my worry is, are we funding it enough for youth soccer? Are we doing the right things? Those kind of questions kind of pop into my head. But I mean, I'll take it from you. Like, if 4 to 8 years down the road, if we're trotting out another super team for the World Cup, then that hats off to that program, right? So that's kind of where
Yeah,
I'm at.
yeah, for sure. And I mean, like I said, time will tell, and I know resources are very slim, and especially when you're developing something, when you're growing something, you need people to take interest. You need people to fund that interest, and I know people are battling tooth and nail just to try and get any inch they can with growing the game in Canada. Like I said, especially with the opportunity we have now with all this young talent that we have. Um, yeah, I'm really hoping that it continues to on this upward trend.
Okay, so I got a couple final questions for you. A bit of rapid fire, if you will.
All
Uh,
right, all right, here we go.
who did you emulate your game or similar to growing up?
So growing up, as I said before, our mom's from Denmark, and my favorite goalkeeper growing up was a guy named Peter Schmeichel, and
Yeah,
he
he
had
was pretty
the
good.
he was, yeah, he was very good, and although he was very good, he had a bizarre style. He was a goalie in handball, and so he had a lot of funny techniques and I loved it. I loved that he was different. I loved that he would just throw his body at things and so yeah, he was like I said, I watched YouTube videos. I tried to coach myself. I tried to be a self-starter and he was a guy I would look up all the time. I'm like, okay, how does he do this? Like when does he do this? What situation can I pull this out? And so yeah, I wasn't I mean I wasn't 6'5", I wasn't whatever. I didn't wear the triple XL jersey that he wore, but
Hmm.
yeah, there was definitely certain things that I stole from him for sure.
Okay, next question. Favorite moment uh, as a professional player?
Oh, there's a few. Um, yeah, I think that first game in the CPL was really special because, like I said, the build up to that was cool. Yeah, especially being back in BC in Canada and getting that first win and that first shutout in like a sold out crowd in Victoria there. That was a really special moment. I think another special moment was when we won the title in the USL regular season in Cincinnati. That was just because it was such that team was just so special. Like we were just so close. I've never been a part of a team like that. Like everyone was just like everyone got along with everybody. Everyone was buddies. Even after training, we'd go out for a drink or two, and we'd go for lunch. And like it didn't. There was no cliques. There was no any of that. Like just that team was just like the if you could put team like that's the definition of team. So
Hmm.
that was really special. I think I love that team. I love the guys on that team, and I think sharing that with them was really special. Yeah, sorry, I've kind of gone on. You asked for one, but I've given you a few.
That's okay. Appreciate that. Who was the best player that you played against or with?
Oh, there's a few. Well, I think I have to say his name. I mean, at Whitecaps too, Alfonso Davies came when he was 15 to my team, and I remember the first training session that he came to the team, and we were all kind of thinking like a 15-year-old kid, like what's going on here?
Hmm.
And I remember we were playing like a friendly game, and he was on the other team, and I remember like I'll never forget this. A ball came across, and this guy just came flying across header like top corner, and I remember thinking like, "Whoa, okay, like who's this guy?" And yeah,
15-year
so
old stud.
yeah, it was yeah, he was unbelievable. Like even at 15, and obviously he's developed into a superstar now. Um, so yeah, that's probably the best I've played with. I never I never played against this player, but I was on the bench for when we played against him, so I'm kind of cheating here. But Didier Drogba was another one when he signed for Phoenix Rising as a part owner actually as well. I think he's a part owner of the team as well. But yeah, so that was pretty special. I was on the bench for that game, like I said, but it was really cool. Even at his he was older in his soccer career, but just to see the way he moved and how big of a force he was a big guy, and I remember shaking his hand after the game. I remember like he like swallowed my hand, and I was like, oh okay, this guy's a giant. So yeah, he was another special player that I mean I got to see play live from the bench. So
Okay, final question. Other than the Pacific FC, Vancouver FC, or the Whitecaps, or FC Cincinnati, who is your favorite team?
oh, it's Liverpool. Liverpool.
Uh,
I've loved them since I was young. I had a good friend growing up called his name was Howard Lewis, and his family is from Liverpool. And I remember they gave me a newspaper. It was called The Cop, And I remember like had all the Liverpool things, and they were like big Liverpool people, and they were actually the family that like really made me fall in love with Liverpool. And ever since I've never looked back. I've loved that team through the highs and lows. So yeah,
All right, my man. I super appreciate your time. This has been incredible. There's a thousand other things I want to talk about, but I'm hoping I can have you on again. But I'm super humbled and I appreciate you being the guinea pig for this podcast journey. And hey, maybe one day there's an opportunity to be like the Kelsey brothers and we can do this thing together.
I hope so. That would be awesome.
All right. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
No worries, buddy.